Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Jerry Ting, CEO and founder of Evisort, a provider of AI-powered contract intelligence. Evisort's AI platform connects contract data, unlocks productivity, and delivers digital workflows that create great experiences across the enterprise. He joins me to discuss how generative AI is unlocking new opportunities for legal and business teams. It is great to have you with us, Jerry. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. I'm excited to be here.
We hear a lot about AI nowadays, especially with all the hype around GPT-3. Give us a high-level overview of what that is and where the focus is for the industry.
Yeah, if you think about it, contracts are everywhere around us, right? And AI has been around for some time, but with GPT, that's really the exciting developments around generative AI. And so with how GPT could be applied to contracting and how AI could be applied to contracting is every time a company buys something, sells something, hires somebody, a contract gets created. This data is really, really important, and it's ripe to be analyzed by AI. But if you think about it, most of the times a contract is read before it's signed. Once it becomes effective, companies forget about what's inside of them. And so that's where AI comes in, is that at my company, Eversort, we can analyze a 35-page contract in 6 seconds. We can tell you what's in it, what did you agree to in the past, and if there's any areas of risk going forward. And so that helps a couple of things. It helps close more deals more quickly, helps manage vendor contracts, and protect against risk.
Well, contracts are clearly important to companies. How come this problem hasn't already been solved?
Yeah, contracts are a treasure trove of data. But if you think about how that data is expressed, it could be very unstructured, depending on who wrote the contract. If the contract data is inside of tables or handwriting or different languages, it's really hard to actually understand what's actually in these agreements. And the technology to solve for that has only existed in the last couple of years. And that's because of the rise of cloud computing and the availability of training data. To use an example, when we first started, we had to manually label thousands and thousands of data points and then give that to the AI to learn. Today, our AI is trained on over 10 million contracts and over 10 billion data points. Things like this take a long time to build. Deep technology like AI takes years to build. Microsoft last week announced that they're investing $10 billion in OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. Microsoft invested in us 4 years ago, and we were training algorithms even 3 years before that. So it does take some time to get ready.
Why are companies focused on contracts now? How does the uncertainty in the economy influence how buyers evaluate technology?
In this downturn, we think that companies are having to look at their budgets much more tightly. And so every dollar that goes out, whether it's a vendor contract or as an employee that they hire, they have to scrutinize that with more scrutiny. And so that's where you really start to look at the contracts and say, how much do we owe these suppliers, these vendors, these contractors, and how do we actually optimize some of the spend? And so it took a while for businesses to understand what is AI and then how to apply it. And now they're focusing on AI not just as a buzzword, but are the AI features actually working before they buy it? Is it actually working on real data? And so our messaging here would be the AI has to be real, it has to work on day one, and it needs to drive a real business impact, like driving sales or vendor contract management.
Let's go back to Evisort specifically. What kind of companies use Evisort? Are they able to train the AI to work for their unique business industries?
Yeah, we serve companies of all shapes and sizes. Brands like Microsoft, Keller Williams, Jelly Belly, they all rely on Evisort. And when I think about this adoption across company size and industries, we learn a couple of things. One, we learned that AI is about to go mainstream, right? It's not just something that's done in research labs. It's also really important when you think about the users who are training these algorithms. They're not all technologists. We have users in procurement and legal and operations. They're all able to train the algorithms. My background, as an example, is I can't code. I'm actually a lawyer, and I can use Evisort's AI. And so I think that impact is going to be broad, and it's going to be as big as that of the internet's. An example that I apply is one large technology company used our system to take an 8-week process and make it an 8-day process. That's a huge improvement. And I think work as we know it is being redefined.
You mentioned a lot of users of your software are lawyers, your background's in law as well. How do you think the practice of law will change with AI becoming more widely adopted?
Yeah, I really think it surprises people how much legal work is done manually. When I graduated law school, the jobs available to me were basically go to a law firm, look through thousands of contracts page by page, and do that looking for specific words. This is not Atticus Finch type of work, and it's very manual, it's very, very repetitive. And this is really important, though. That work is really important. Negotiating a contract back and forth, but parts of it can and should be automated. Lawyers go to law school to think, to become strategists, to be counselors, not to do repetitive work. We see that with our clients when they use Evisort, their lawyers are happier, more fulfilled, and less burnt out. And if I had a tool like this, I still might be practicing law.
Interesting. All right. We appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, Jill.